Well, ding dong, the proverbial witch is dead, or at least traded, and what a magnificent day it is, as the best player in the NBA has finally shed arguably the worst contract in the NBA from his team's book of contracts. And the Denver Nuggets' putrid and inept front office has been toiling around in ineptitude for years now, squandering the prime of the legendary Nikola Jokic, who again they fell ass backwards into with the 41st pick of the 2014 NBA draft. A selection which, yes, was famously made during a freaking Taco Bell commercial. Since then, though, the Nuggets have made virtually every wrong move an organization can possibly make, with the very slim exception of the Aaron Gordon acquisition and the Christian Braun draft pick. There are, though, a multitude of albatross contracts that have weighed the Nuggets down in recent years, most prominently Zeke Nnaji for $8 million a year to not play at all, Jamal Murray $50 million a year to play half the time, and Michael Porter Jr. roughly $40 million a year to be an abysmal shell of himself in the playoffs when the games actually matter. And it has been those contracts, which, coupled with the highly punitive nature of the new CBA towards teams that find themselves in the apron tier like the Nuggets have, which has rendered them incapable of operating in free agency and on the trade block. It has additionally resulted in the Nuggets purging all of their effective role players and gutting the depth they had on their 2023 championship team. A series of moves which saw them sacrifice Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, and Reggie Jackson in order to go in a younger, cheaper route, while none of those younger, cheaper options have panned out, at least not with any semblance of consistency. The result has been that the Nuggets have gotten quickly passed by in the Western Conference hierarchy by a series of younger, much deeper teams. It was clear and painfully obvious that some kind of substantial moves needed to be made, and made this summer. And lo and behold, finally at long last, Michael Porter Jr. has reportedly been moved for the rights to Cam Johnson. Now, I know what you're all thinking here. On the surface, this doesn't look like that major of a deal. Arguably, just two very similar players exchanged for each other. Two players who just completed their 6th NBA season, two players who just averaged roughly 18 points per game on roughly 50% shooting from the field and roughly 40% shooting from the three-point line. Two players who have never made a single All-Star appearance in their careers to this point. Oh, and may I finally add, two players who have both had their fair share of injury concerns and struggles in the past, as Cam Johnson has yet to exceed the 60-game played plateau even once since the 2021-2022 season. But here is the skinny, and there really is no getting around it. Michael Porter Jr. is a limited and one-dimensional player, a guy who cannot put the ball on the floor, cannot create his own shot or get others theirs, a poor defender who isn't even particularly great at rebounding for his size, and the biggest factor of all here, a guy who was still owed around $40 million annually for the next 2 seasons. He has completely evaporated in the playoffs the last 2 seasons to boot. He averaged just 11 points per game on 37% shooting in the 7-game series loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2024 NBA playoffs, and was even worse in this most recent 7-game series loss this season to the Oklahoma City Thunder, contributing just 7 points per game on 32% shooting. Seems a bit steep for, again, $40 million per year. Not a change was needed here, and this was as good as it was ever going to get for the Denver Nuggets. As much of an upgrade as possibly could have been expected, as Cam Johnson, viewed largely as a 3-and-D guy, will add much needed defensive capabilities on the wing while showing off the ability to put the ball on the floor more last season. Oh, and finally, he is making just $21 million next year and $23 million the following year, which gives the Nuggets a little bit more wiggle room within the free agent market. In fact, they are already putting some of that saved money to use in bringing back Bruce Brown, while this most recent move will also get them outside of the apron tier and thus will free up the vast majority of a $14 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception to use this summer. The Nuggets also will be sending out pretty much their lone tradable asset to facilitate this deal, a 2023 first-round pick. But realistically, who cares? This was a great deal for Denver. It doesn't quite get them to the Houston or Minnesota level in the West's second tier below Oklahoma City, but it does make them a viable, competitive, and realistic fringe title competitor again, which realistically moving into this summer is the best Nikola Jokic possibly could have ever hoped for. Guys, many thanks for tuning in as always, and please do make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with more from me. Until next time.